So I think anywhere towards the centre of the course, we could be looking for our next winner, Sarah.
Confirmation there of the lineup. In lane 1 from Norway, Ole Amund Stolin and Martin Helseth. In lane 2, the Olympic champions reunited. They haven't rode together since early in 2023. Hugo Boucheron and Mathieu Androdias. In lane 3 from Netherlands, the world champions Melvin Tweller and Stefan Bernink. In lane 4 from Spain, Alex Garcia y Puyola and Rodrigo Conde Romero. In lane 5 from Italy, Luca Rambaldi and Matteo Sartori. And in lane 6 from New Zealand, Jordan Parry in the bow and Robbie Manson in the stroke seat.
So it's going to be a pretty stacked race, really. The camera, unsurprisingly, goes in here on the world champions from Belgrade, silver medalists from Tokyo, where they were behind this French double. But in many ways, it's the Dutch who've been the consistent performers, the French who could look to pull as some surprises. Today would be a good day for them to pull out a surprise. Oh, and they've just moved away. That's going to be a false start.
It's been a while since we've seen one of them.
You don't get a lot of false starts, do you? But God, the alarm's gone off. It's a very quiet, isn't it? It's really quiet. You can hear all the noises sitting on the start. But this is going to be a false start for the French. I think the way it works now with false starts, because we don't get many, is once you've had one, anyone who goes again would get disqualified. It's more of a risk, really. I mean, it looks like they almost just drift away from the stake boat. They're doing a little boat adjustment, and the person holding the boat lets go a bit early. I mean, it used to be when the start was given differently, without a traffic lights and a hooter, that you could almost lean on the blades a little bit before the start, and we would learn to lean on the blades and try to get the blades buried and almost time your start for the go. But now that we have all the electronic timing system and often have the shoe over the bow, there's not really much chance of getting an advantage by getting your blades locked in. Pretty much just have to wait for the lights to turn green and the hooter to go.
So a few nervous moments here. No one will want to break this start. And confirmation of what we saw, that the false start was officially from lane 2 France.
This would probably cause a little bit of time. I mean, I imagine they might bring out a traffic cone or something and put it in the French lane. I think usually the umpire would ensure that France know they have the false start, look for someone in the French boat to acknowledge you have a false start. I think I might be able to see something orange in their lane now. But all the boats you can see are completely sitting at the backstops now, sitting relaxed. Calmness personified really there. Stefan Bronink and Melvin Tweller, both such big, strong men. When you see them in the boat, you see them sculling, they look really kind of clean and tidy. Then you see them off the water, and you see they've got such strength and power to go with that technique that they have. And you realise why they're such a good double.
And Greg, I think, I'm not sure if you're up to speed with what's happening with the Sinkovic brothers, because of course they were the World Cup winners in 2023. We've seen them switching between the pair and the double in recent years. What are we going to see them show up to?
Yes,
the
what I
Olympic
can tell
Games
you is
in?
we've seen the Sinkovic brothers race in the pair at both World Cup 1 and the European Championships, and they must have been disappointed with their performance because they weren't on the podium in either of those races. So now the Sinkovic brothers are missing Lucerne. They're not in the double or the pair. So the path is open. crews are ready. A slightly longer looking wait there on the start. No one jumping early, but all 6 crews very much in a line getting away. Unsurprisingly, again, take a look at the Netherlands, Stefan Breuning. Big, looking strong, but looking really connected and pretty long as well, straight up into that full length sculling. The Spanish, I'm kind of not surprised to see them maybe rating a little bit higher in that Spanish double as they come into the race. You can see those 4 in the middle very much in a line.
Wow, look at these 4 boats in the lead, locked together. It's really only lane 1 and lane 6, Norway and New Zealand, that had just been dropped off in this early part of the race. But these 4 leading boats, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, France, but the Dutch, the world champions, just eking their bow out in front in this very early stage. I would think they'd want to hold the pressure on early in the race. They won World Cup 1 in Varese. They're certainly the crew to watch, but the Olympic champions still undoubtedly trying to find their form.
Yeah, the Olympic champions will be looking to find their form. We had a little look at the New Zealanders right in front of us here. That's Robbie Manson in the stroke seat, backed up by Jordan Parry. Jordan Parry raced the single. Back at the Tokyo Olympics, finished 13th. Robbie Manson, of course, had that world best time in the single scull way back in 2017. Now trying to make it work in the double, but the rest of the field is just easing its way out. You can see it there for yourselves on the graphic. It's the Netherlands in front. Strong, powerful men. Also at the top of the field, Luca Ramboldi and Matteo Sartori. They were out of the medals, the Italians, at the World Championships. They were 4th. It was these 2 who are the gold medalists. They managed to move away from the rest of the field. Now we see these Italians. I just think they scull so well. Ramboldi in the bow seat. He's been in the team since 2012, joined by the much younger Matteo Sartori, whose father had such great history. Sartori, an under-23 gold medalist, only back in 2022, now rowing the senior team. The Italians, I think, were pleased to see themselves there through the 750. A little lead on these Spanish. Just a case of trying to edge away. It's great that you've got that graphic there with those stroke rates. Interesting, the French, just that little bit smoother, letting the boat run a little bit more, trying to minimize the check on that stern that you can see from the Spanish. That stern, they just want to keep that up out of the water as much as possible. It looks a little bit shorter, it looks a little bit stabbier to me from the Spanish double than it does from this French double, who just looked to have a little bit more length. Now here we go, coming towards the 1,000-meter mark. It is the Dutch who have got that lead up to a boat length. The Italians will be very happy to have a little overlap with them. The New Zealanders look to let the race get away from them, but now they've settled into a rhythm. Robbie Manson there, used to seeing him rating high up at 40 strokes a minute, as is the rest of the field. Wouldn't be a surprise at all to see them hang in there and look to make a move now in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, confirmation there through the 1,000. The Dutch leading through in 2nd place, Italy, 3rd, Spain, 4th, France, 5th, the Kiwis, and 6th was Norway. But look at the world champions opening up clear water onto the rest of the field, up at 40 strokes per minute.
Well, Luca Ramboldi in the bow seat, we can see him. I spoke to him in Varese, and he looks after his body as well as he possibly can. He's had some problems with his back, but he looks to keep moving. Let's keep all the exercises going. Looking at them here, they're drifting towards the right-hand side of the boys. They'll have to make a little steering correction just to get in the middle of the lane. For me, it's Spain who've made a big move in this 3rd quarter. And I'm also surprised by how far back this French double are. They look like they just haven't quite found their magic of old yet.
They're rowing well, they just don't seem to have that same rhythm that we're used to seeing with the crew. I wonder if, they'll keep building through this season, because there's no doubt they were absolutely dominant coming into Tokyo and a pretty special combination. But look at this Dutch double. They are just absolutely driving it out here in front. They are not taking their foot off the pedal at all. They now have clear water over the Italians, and the Kiwis now starting to get themselves back into the race. In fact, pushing through France. And can they get themselves up onto the Spanish?
Well, that's what they'll be looking to do. We're looking at the Italians again, Sartori and Ramboldi. They move really well, but these guys are just have a little bit more strength in those legs. Look at those legs of Stefan Breuning. The water's on them, those muscles are rippling. He looks so strong and so powerful. Backed up by Melvin Tweller, who had an excellent time in the single scull when he went and did that back in 2022. But now here he is working it in the bow seat of the double, and they look fantastic. They've made this work in 2023. Here they are at the front of the field. They're really moving on the rest of the field. Italy have stepped away here as we hit the red buoys from the Spanish. And as you said, Sarah, if anything, the New Zealanders could just catch the Spanish.
Yeah, we saw the Spanish men's pair get up for a medal earlier today. Can their double do the same? But the Dutch, no doubt about the race leaders here. I mean, look how cool and calm they look. The Italians are going, but they're not going to have enough room to be able to bring back that fast finishing Dutch crew. They're well up over 40 strokes per minute. The Dutch, they are absolutely in control. They're going to win this race by clear water, which is amazing. But the Spanish looking over their left-hand side shoulders because there is a fast finishing combination from New Zealand. Jordan Parry and Robbie Manson, they're going to run out of room here. It will be too little, too late. But great job by the Kiwis to get themselves up into the hunt in this race. We look forward to seeing them step on throughout the season towards the games with this new look men's double. But no doubt about the dominance of the Dutch, the world champions, winners of World Cup 1. They'll do it again here at World Cup 2, Breuning and Tweller.
Well, Stefan Breuning, he looked so cool. As you said, he just dropped his eyes down. You checked the stroke meter. And then you compare that to these two. Luca Ramboldi laying back in that boat. I told you he has a sore back. He'll have worked it as hard as he possibly could. His head started to nod a little bit in the last 100 meters of the race. But that Italian double kept moving. They kept ahead where they needed to be and moved past this Spanish double. 5th place in Belgrade, 2nd at the European Championships. They'll make it to the podium here, but it will be the dominant Dutch double who controlled that race really from about 500 gone. They just eased away from the rest of the field. Fantastic scull from the Dutch. And I think this Italian double will be pretty pleased with the silver medal today. Melvin Tweller sitting back there behind Breuning, pointing that finger number 1. That's the position they want to keep. They've had it pretty much their own way for the last year. And they'll want that for Paris. Confirmation there, Tweller and Breuning with the World Championship gold and the gold medal here.
Let's hear it for our medalists.